Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 237, and today we're going to be doing battle with Taric, Poppy, Kayle. And so, welcome to the World Ender. The final expansion of the Darkened Saga is here. This is our first World Ender video, and I was looking to play a couple of cards today. I wanted to take advantage of what I predicted and presumed to be the most powerful champion out of the set in Kayle, and then what I think is going to be one of the big cards coming out of the set in Champion Strength. And so the deck here, it does look very similar to the Poppy Taric decks of old, but this has tons and tons and tons of ways to activate the Kayle. And so if you're not familiar with Kayle just yet, she gets +1 attack each time an ally with bonus power attacks. And so the easiest and the kind of core ways that you're going to be seeing these bonuses come about in Targon are going to be with the Darkened Lodestone and with Esmuth. And so if you're looking to play those two, I think it sends you down 3 paths, ignoring things like Freylord and playing Omen Hawks. But I think if you're really focusing on this Targon core, you're either going to be playing with Bard, you're going to be playing with Daybreak, or like we are here, you're going to be playing in kind of a Poppy Taric style shell. And I'm really interested in Poppy Taric for a couple of different reasons, right? Number one, we mentioned the Darkened Lodestone and the Esmuth. That does tie in quite nicely with this Taric Poppy shell. It's got all of the challengers in it. We love having a good, strong early game board control style element. And then it ties in with some of the big high-powered plays in both Poppy, giving all of our attacking allies the +1/+1, and then the Mountain Sojourners, another way to come in and boost some of our units to help level up Kayle. And the reason I'm kind of excited about this collection of units is, it's very easy to go super all in on a level up ability. You're really focusing on leveling up your Hecarim, say, so you're playing a whole bunch of really terrible ephemerals just to get the flip, and you aren't really playing just at its core a good deck full of good cards. And I think that that's a big piece that the Poppy Taric kind of shell gives to us, is we aren't just playing a bunch of unit boosting cards for the sake of leveling up Kayle. It's a nice core and strong cohesive set of cards that build towards a solid strategy, whether that strategy is the board width with all of the strength and the rallies, or Kayle herself. It's not just playing bonus cards without a lot of rhyme or reason. The next thing that we are looking to bring into the deck was the Champion Strength. Taric really got kind of painfully nerfed in the previous set. Nothing really hit Taric himself, but Relentless Pursuit got the +1/+1 thing taken away, so it no longer targets, so you can't make the Relentless Pursuit target double rally plays onto Taric, and then the Golden Aegis was reduced or increased in cost by 1. And so I don't feel ultimately super comfortable on being really all in on Taric to where we're playing 3 copies of Taric and 5 or 6 rallies, but I think it's still a powerful enough package to warrant inclusion into our deck. But that does cycle us back to the Champion Strength. This is the new big one that I'm really excited to play. For 8 mana, you get to give all of your allies +4/+4 this round, and then if you have the attack token, they get Scout. If you don't have the attack token, then you Rally. And so just gives us one of these really big, high-powered plays that synergizes with all the stuff that's already happening in our deck. The units like Poppy love attacking multiple times. All of our support units like attacking multiple times. And so getting that Rally is a nice replacement for where we had a lot of rally space devoted to Taric before. The last card I wanted to mention before we really dive in is the Divine Clerk. And so what historically gave Poppy Taric a lot of problems were basically just really fast, non-interactive aggro decks. And so Pirates was never a good matchup in the current landscape now. Things like the Elusives deck, the Zoe Timo deck is a real problem, and then things like Katarina Gwen can be problematic as well. And the Divine Clerk really can do quite a bit of work in fitting in that, fitting in and correcting that damage and those problems, in the sense that, just imagine this scenario, right? This is not a uncommon scenario by any means, and it should be pretty easy to accomplish, right? We're on the even attack tokens. Opponent plays a Legion Rearguard on turn 1. I love it. I love what you're up to, opponent. They attack for 3, we take it. All right, we do nothing on turn 2. Opponent plays a unit. Cool. Now we go into turn 3. Here's all we're going to do. We're just going to play Divine Clerk, and then we're going to hit it with a Pale Cascade. We're going to come in and block our opponent's Legion Rearguard, and that just gives us a 9-point life swing, right? We get to take down the opposing rearguard. We get to prevent the 3 damage he would deal. Then we get to lifesteal back 3. And just these like small little boosts should do a significant amount of work in helping recover this early game that we've lost against the opposing aggro decks. And this doesn't even kind of count for the situations to where the clerk just survives and gets to do multiple combats, right? We have all of these supports to really help him out. We have things like Brightsteel Protector to give him barrier and potentially get an additional attack. We have all of these challengers that might develop a board to where he just gets to attack freely without getting blocked. And if he's down and gaining a 6 or 8 or 9 health in a game, it's going to do a lot of work in terms of letting us build up and get to these spaces to where we do get the Mountain Sojourners going, or we do get the Kayles going, or we do have the mana to cast a champion strength. So I'm pretty excited about him. I'm good and happy to come in and try him out. The last but not least thing I wanted to talk about in terms of Kayle is she does fill a gap that this deck used to have in the olden times, in the sense that there was no mechanism for just drawing a single card and recovering, right? So if you get shut down by your opponent's game plan, it's like turn 6 or turn 7, you have like 1 card in hand and a Taric on the board, you're losing that game, right? There's not a lot of ways for this deck to really recover and come back out of that situation. You might piece together some kind of nonsense like drawing a Pale Cascade, using it to draw 2, hitting a Mountain Sojourners, and then hitting a rally after that. Like, you can get in Magical Christmas Land and recover, kind of, but it didn't have any kind of like singular card that it could draw to just like recover a game that went to shit, right? And I think Kayle is going to be a fantastic addition in that sense, though, to where if we do, control the early game, the board kind of stalls out. We're ahead on life, but we're just drawing off the top of our deck. Having this leveled up Kayle is a pretty interesting and powerful effect that we didn't have access to in the past. And so, good stuff. Lots of interesting additions. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. Let's get into battle. But you know what we have to do first before the battles begin. We have to pay the pay-to-win price, and we were talking about the Divine Clerk. I dig it. You dig it. You know, he got a bit of hype at the start. He gets turned premium now. Means he's good and ready to go. So, got our deck ready, our premiums ready, Poppy, Taric, Kayle ready. Let's jump on into battle. Be hitting the normals for today. The ladder did just reset. We finished up in Masters somewhere. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't quite relevant this season, and so we just kind of let it go. But the ranked queues haven't been turned back on just yet, so a little bit of waiting for that to come around. And all right, up to battle against Rise. Let's see how this initial game goes. Feral Prescience. Was not expecting that out of the Rise deck. I'm curious, like, about things with the Rise deck. It's playing like so many value cards. If you want to go through and look at all of the burst cards that exist in the format, oh, Shatter. I'm not expecting that one either. Jesus, there's just like a ton of card draw, and so I'm curious at what point you can't rely on the Rise rocks, and you can't rely on a lot of those cards that you're just naturally playing, in terms of having enough card advantage to play terrible cards like Feral Prescience. Like, I'm curious if it ever puts you in a spot to where you can't come in and survive some of those things. But here, a little tough. I'm going to protect our Esmuth from this ability. I would have preferred to have been able to, say, put a Darkened Lodestone onto Esmuth so that it could survive, but it's not how that's playing out. I still want to be able to drop this big Poppy next turn, hopefully recover the Esmuth just a little bit. Might be one of these awkward turns to where she doesn't get to attack alone. Yeah, he's already nailed 2 with the Delve into the Past. How does this ordering go? 2 to the weakest? Oh, he gets a Rune Prison in hand. Gotcha. It doesn't immediately stun. Okay. So Poppy gets the boost, but she doesn't get the level up ability. She's attacking by herself here. There's our boy Divine Clerk. He said, "You talked about me so much, I'm just here to party now." He said, I want to be friends and hang out. How are we doing this one? If we want to really come in and challenge down the Rise, We could look to play a Protege and equip it with the Lodestone. I mean, I think I'm kind of okay with like doing this. He's got the Rune Prison in hand, right? He's going to be able to shut down a bit of our board. But I feel like next turn we can add Mountain Sojourners, and then we don't care if he stuns either Poppy or the Sojourners, because we're going to get to attack in with at least one of our big boys. Okay, didn't hit the massive prank here. He didn't get the +2 cost onto the Sojourners, so we're still ready to party. Taric turns up.
I thought they said this climb would be a challenge.
But right, he needs to stun right now. If he wants to stop either Poppy or Mountain Sojourners from attacking, he has to drop the stuns before we get ourselves into combat. Tomb onto the Sojourners. Okay. Works for me. Yeah, we're short on the damage, aren't we? That's okay. We still have lots of options for the next turn. I think we have plenty of time with this. It's just... it's kind of an awkward moment in the sense that he does have the stun, and that plays quite well into a lot of our rallies. But, I mean, I think this is still a pretty safe turn to just Golden Aegeus and then look for an open attack next turn. He's got the Delve thing. That's fine. Good old Rise is going to flip. What? Let's see. We should be hitting for... Oh, we're going to get a Poppy rally next turn as well. Yeah, this is going to be nice. So he deals 2 to the weakest enemy. He has a bit of mana, but not a ton. I wonder if he would actually play his Rune Prison onto the Protege. That would make a bit of sense. We're just like so close to lethal. I think I like just coming in and going for this. If our Divine Clerk survives into the next turn as well, that's going to be pretty powerful since it has the support with the Sojourners coming out of the tomb. Looks like it was enough. GG Raz. I'm curious. I don't like. I think that game was a good example. Like I'm not certain, like to what degree of luck our opponent achieved in getting those rune things early, but he had plenty of value throughout the course of the game, right? So giving up a Feral Prescience to know that you get to draw one of your big engine cards doesn't feel like that big of a loss. And so, you know, the way I talk about that often is if you win the game with 1 card in hand or if you win the game with 8 cards in hand, it doesn't really matter because you won the game, right? And so it is always nice to draw 1,000 cards, but if you don't get to play them, then it doesn't matter completely. All right, battle number 2. Did we already break the game? No? All right. This guy looks like he's going to have an awesome name. What's this? 420 Marijuana. 420 Marijuana 420. I love it, dude. I love it. You just let the world know what you're all about. Butt Stuff 420 says what up. All right, reasonable enough start. Let's see if we can't jump in with the Fleet Feather Tracker early. Almost mentioned it and clicked the button. We made it. We're safe. The Laurent Protege. Wasn't quite expecting Sting officers to come in, but shouldn't be too much problem. Let's go ahead. Like, it's not super likely that the bird just gets hit with the flashbang trap next turn, but let's go ahead and make a little bit of a protect if we can, and then we should be able to kind of pick and choose the good combat with the Laurent Protege here. If we have to trade away the bird this turn, It's not ideal, but we might be willing to if he plays like Vayne. I guess if he plays Vayne, we'll just hook the Sting Officer with the Protege. Interesting. Okay. Well, we're going to get the Caitlyn off the board this turn, so I'm happy enough to slam these in. Ooh, I was not expecting a one-cost combat trick. We got boomed real good. But the way with this attack, we were trying to just put less damage on the Protege, since that's the one that should have been surviving the combat.
Notify patrol to close in on this location.
We'll prepare them a nice welcome.
Let's see. Let's see if we can just get the Caitlyn, right? We do still have this Pale Cascade in hand. This is fairly greedy. God, this just gets blown up by a Mystic Shot. I can't pull the trigger on that. It's like, we could have on this turn looked to just say Bright Steel Protector the Protege, but I kind of let that slip away. Oh boy. 2 traps.
I've got your back.
All right, let's see where we can get ourselves now, though. Keep the Protege protected. We can add Tiara, use Tiara to boost a Broadwing. My ultimate concern here is like a Mystic Shot, but
Change everything.
Pale Cascade's like not an exciting way to try and get around that. This is annoying. Kayle doesn't say how close she is to leveling up. I guess you can just see her power. I guess that makes sense. It wouldn't make as much sense to have a kind of stat thing on there.
My steel is yours.
You've got this.
What are you up to now? 6? She's got the quick attack ready to go. And riposte. Okay. Look at that. She's ready. How do we get you leveled up? 11 power? She's really close to that on the next turn, right? If we summon, give all the other allies +1 attack, like this is 5 dudes on the board.
In the area.
Gets you close. Gets you close. Look at all this stuff. What's she on the flip side? Overwhelm. When I'm summoned or leveled up, give other allies +1/+1. Kind of interesting you can do that in the middle of combat. It's not going to work out fantastically here, but, you know, it's something. Oh, he's going ham on this Kayle. Puts the Piltover Peacemaker onto the Bright Steel. Now we can Pale Cascade Tiari and still get the takedown. Okay, that was a big investment. Oh shit, oh shit. Fuck, oh that's so bad. Oh no. Oh no, you got the level up. Are we just dead? Oh Jesus. So, she only hits for 3 traps, okay. Ooh, that's not ideal. He's got to set the blunt down to to reassess what just happened. Oh shit. Oh shit. Lots of things, man.
Peacemaker protocol.
All right, fall to 4. We need to open attack next turn because he's got this tumble. I guess we don't have to. It's just Caitlyn is pretty scary at this point. He's assessing. He said, "Oh my god, it's blunt the clock out here." Say, dude, might have dropped it. Just got his pipe rolling around on the floor. Oh jeez. Ah fuck. I'm always the worst at these. I knew it. I knew that it was gonna hit our 1 drop, our 1 health unit that we needed. Okay.
Mine is a solemn duty.
Yeah, Kayle, you're about to get into combat. You can at least do battle with a Caitlyn and survive. If Caitlyn gets into combat right now, we'll only take 1 damage, and so it's not that big of a deal. But that was a pretty painful turn of events with that Pale Cascade. Could we have done that first? We could, right? We could have Pale Cascaded and then seen where the draw hit and then not messed it up. Would have probably been better. This is about to be a disaster show. I'm going to throw in the block. This is going to get hit with a Mystic Shot or something like 80% of the time, right? Like, why would he just attack his Caitlyn in and not have a card? But we have to have something go right here. This is actually more right than we could have hoped for. He doesn't get the strike onto... I guess he did get a strike with the Caitlyn. He didn't get the combat strike in for the point of damage. Oh, we're just going to be dead, aren't we? Gonna be just dead. Gonna bring that open attack. We aren't playing any of the heal. GG. Oof. What a nasty set of traps. Alright, well. Resume your duties, marijuana 420 marijuana. Spark it, blaze it, do your thing. Only if it's recreationally legal, I'm sure. No illegalities on our video today. All right, up against another flavor of Kayle. This being the Daybreak version. See how this early start goes. I'm always happy with the Broadwing into Taric. Just gives us a really big, powerful interactive start. The Bright Steel Protector lets us protect either of our units if we need to, and then we cycled away the Protege to look for something a little bit more powerful. That something didn't turn up, but it's still okay. I'm interested in trying out some of the formidables. It's gonna be happening soon, right? As to where we get to play the Omen Hawks and the new Freylord equipment, the formidables. Just any deck we can with the Petricite Broadwing gets me right on point and on track where I want to be with life, and so I'm pretty excited to try out some more of that stuff. All right, not a terrible round. Continue to play on curve, get more Tyaris going. The Lodestone was a fantastic draw. See what we can do. Gonna be dropping Leonas. It's the typical way. Oh, not yet. Well, we're playing a 2 and a 2 this turn. I don't think we want to get the Bright Steel down. I think we want to do Esmuth. Feels like he's up to like a bit of a shenanigan here, but I don't think it's anything to worry about too much. He shouldn't be like playing confronts, right? He shouldn't be forcing our units into combat. I don't care to come in and just take 3 or 5 damage. And now we can drop the Lodestone, still have a Pale Cascade back. I guess the actual real question would be, though, would we rather, like, we're going to Lodestone, that's going to happen. Would we rather just have Tayari down this turn as well?
One foot in front of the other.
Alright, because now we can still Pale Cascade on this next turn. Get a little bit of value Taric on the follow-up. Yeah.
Shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
It's our Tayari. Okay.
The sun's splendor reveals. You're covered.
Alright, so this attack looks a little something like this.
Honor guide me.
Our Tyaris are all protected. The only good block he has is on our Bright Steel. Nice little build-up. I would feel pretty good about this if we had a rally. Either one. The +4/+4 scout one kind of works. So we can play Taric plus bank 2 mana next turn. Just something to help us take advantage of all these stats we have on the board.
Glorious light reigns.
Do you have the Divine Judgment into Taric next turn? I didn't talk about this one in the intro, but it's something that's definitely a strong possibility here. Give all of our team +2 attack and then have a indestructible unit along with the Taric. Say, welcome to the big leagues, bruh. Look at all these stats. Let's go ahead and put a block onto Ravun. If he wants to block next turn, then we'll have him reduced in power.
I'm ready to shine.
All right, let's shine it up, bruh.
I won't stop now.
Look sharp.
Give it one of those, a little bit of that. Come in with some of that secret sauce right there. Feels good. Feels good. Many protections, many stats. I like it. Short of lethal, but we got to make our sweet play for the day. What you got? He was about to drop something in here. Uh-oh. I don't know if that's scary or not when he just pulls it back. Was that card till the end of the turn? +2 attack this round. Gotcha.
My blade
It's got a Kayle.
illuminate the dark.
It's not that intimidating.
Bless the faithful and fear the heretics.
And a concerted strike. Good stuff. Feel pretty safe now. That's not very nice. These are two bigs. Our Tyaris.
To preserve beauty and protect all life.
Say no thank you, bro. No thank you. Uh-oh, he's got more cards. We should still be safe. We have the Pale Cascade to boost either of them up to a 5, but scary stuff. Says I'm getting boomed. Getting boomed by that pool party Taric. That brings us up to an interesting thing to talk about. They have all of the corrupted skins coming out, and I'm not sure how I feel. You know, the way I typically look at them is like the pool party is the greatest set of skins ever made because everybody's so happy and having a good time. But then they come out and print all these scary looking skins, and I don't want to just like scare myself in the middle of the day. You know, I don't want to bring any harsh images into my brain. I'm just too old for that shit. And so I prefer the happy ones. I feel like the corrupted ones are kind of in the middle, you know? It's like, it's kind of like the Ernest Scared Stupid of skins. And if you're not familiar with Ernest Scared Stupid, this was a classic film from the late 80s to early 90s. Completely ruined me as a person. I won't watch scary movies because of this. When I was a kid, Mom took me to the movies to watch Ernest Scared Stupid, and it's got the Muckmen in it. They're kind of like, I don't know, Swamp Thing or something. They're just kind of like, look very, very swampy. They have like sticks coming out of them and stuff. And I saw them and just started crying. And we didn't leave the movie. Mom just made me like sit there. I got to sit on her lap, as comforting as that was and shit. But I was ruined from that point forward. I had no desire whatsoever to watch scary movies. But it's tied into a comedy. This would be a horror comedy or whatever people call them these days. The zombie lands of the world, the ha-has and the scaries all mixed into the same movie. But this is how I kind of feel about the corrupted skins. You know, they're all bright visually. They're all red and yellow, and they look very festive. But I feel like there's a lot going on within them. I feel like there's a lot of scary stuff happening within those skins. And I haven't gotten a full analysis on it just yet. And so that's my initial impression, though. It's the Ernest Scared Stupid of skins, the horror comedy. All right, what's Guy here gonna do? We have a reasonable enough curve, especially with the poppy that we just picked up, but we're gonna look to set this up to where on 2 attack tokens now. So on turn 6, we'll be able to Taric Golden Aegis and get the big slam in that way.
We are at the threshold of something great. Our purpose calls to us. We cannot turn away.
Well, we don't have any tricks in hand, so let's just add the Protege now. We can put a block in front of the Soul Shepherd if that's what it amounts to. And then we can drop Poppy next turn.
Death comes.
We still feel that way. It's so tough for him to play like dudes that are relevant, right? If this was, say, an elites deck where they're just putting dudes and stats on the board, we could like really seriously consider this turn playing Taric plus Petricite Broadwing. But it's just like so common for this deck to be like, oh, I'm just gonna play nothing, or I'm just gonna play an ephemeral. Not a lot of dudes that just like stick around on the board. So I don't think we ever go Broadwing Taric here. Or Broadwing and Broadwing and Taric. We'll set up this on turn 7, the Aegis and Taric. I feel like we're just going to flood the board this turn, open attack next turn, and then did he not summon? When you summon an ephemeral, he didn't Nightfall it. All right. There they are. So big. Guess that would have been a reason to play Taric, but I think this is still fine. We might just have lethal next turn. If he's not gonna play dudes that survive the board, we can just say add Taric. That's gonna give us the maximum attack with these Broadwings. Let's see where that gets us. You can play shit like Haunted Relic or something and just have infinite blockers. So it's not impossible for him to have a shutdown here, but we can definitely lethal this round with Golden Aegis. Interesting, and he stops. Oh, okay.
I won't stop now. I demand satisfaction.
Follow my lead.
All right, well, here come the stats. Interesting. What's he going to do? Like, play Hecarim? Just slaughter you if you play Hecarim here. All right, Golden Aegis, still a good card, I assure you. Nothing has stopped it. Nothing stops it. Dragon Ambush. gets +6. This is a safe block, right? The barrier prevents 3 of the life gain. Okay. Now we just re-attack. Neg 14 into 9. Call that a GG, my dude. Alright, good stuff. Ooh, it's been nice. Took a 2-day break from the old Runeterras, just waiting on the new cards to come out. I'm hyped for this. This has been a fun set of games. I've been ready for battle. What do we got here? Zed Orn. Interesting. All right, the first appearance of the Divine Clerks. Let's see how this goes if we get a clerk on turn 1, Esmuth hitting a clerk, and then another clerk on turn 3. I don't think we need that much lifesteal, but you know, there's some opportunities there. Some chances for greatness coming out of the lifesteal bros.
Could be nicer. More air? Ever been to a blacksmith before?
All right, what'd you hit? Perfect. This gives us the opportunity for greatness, right? We can get... can we get both of these up to 4 power? Yeah, we just need to put the lodestone onto the other one. Now Esmuth boosts 1. The clerk now boosts the other clerk. We have the 2 4-power clerks ready to battle up against his 2-4. Look at that. Look at that.
Let me focus.
That's fine. He doesn't get a kill, he just gets a protect. So many healths. You're never dealing the damages, bro. Never dealing them.
Wouldn't be a quest without some danger.
Alright, Poppy's not in her most ideal form right now, but she does let us get the most stats out of this. I'm really looking to come into the next turn, just bank some mana, and then play the champion strength on the opponent's next turn. Gets us a flipped Poppy at that point. Perfect draw with the Broadwing here, lets us 3 bank into the next turn. There's probably a more perfect draw, right? But we're just pretty happy to get the unit on board.
While I breathe, I hope.
We got this.
It's a pretty big attack, bro. He's gonna spend his efforts taking down Poppy. I was hoping it would be a more expensive effort, but I think you can imagine how much wrecking this champion strength's gonna do next turn. Oh Zed, oh Zed, you're so weak. Get that out of here. I'll show you where the stats are at. It's all about the Divine Clerks and the champion strength, my dude. That's not 20, that's 16. Alright, get your animations. Here comes the goods. No denies, please. You have to preface it with that, right? No denies, please. Oh, he's got one. Aren't you lame, dude? Ah, big ol' lame-o. Alright, let's try this again. I got the mana. Sprinkle a little on there. There it is. That's the stuff everybody wanted to see. Alright. He's not going to have any more barrier life steals here.
Justice light my way.
That's the stuff. That's the stuff right there. GG, my dude. Give me all them stats. Whew. That Zed animation reminded me. You know, it's like a good space. The hype level is pretty good in Runeterra. When you pull up the old Reddit, and all people have to bitch about is the type of cinematics, the type of animations you get when your champion levels up. Some people are on the team that I need a Sun Disk level movie. Some people are on the team that they need the short and quick and snappy ones like you would get out of the Zed one we just saw. I think it's great. You know, there's always very little positivity in the Runeterra community, and so to to see them stuck just bitching about level up animations, you know, makes it seem like you're in a pretty good spot. All right, let's see how good this spot gets though. He's playing Aatrox Kayn, the double Darken, the Darken soup, if you will. All right, let's see what we can do. He says, "Don't worry about me, dog. I'm not playing any factions today. I'm playing the Darken faction."
One foot in front of the other.
True power eclipses both day and night.
All right, see if he's got that 1 mana combat trick. Doesn't. All right, we should be able to run away with this now. Got a pretty good setup to where we're gonna go Tyari Broadwing next turn, Mountain Sojourners on turn 5, have the 2 support units on board for the Sojourners. Makes Kayle nice and happy. We can still just take a ton of damage here, right? We'll gain 4 off of the Divine Clerk next turn.
My journey begins here.
This is the kind of space I was talking about with it. I'm not... we could have just traded it away earlier, right? But now that we're in this spot to where we can send the Clerk into combat and have him be unblocked and then potentially get a second block out of him in the future, just lets us gain so many healths out of this thing. You can just be super greedy and never taking trades early, and then now we're like, oh, LOL. I'm just super far ahead.
Hold tight.
Take my hand.
What you seen, Kayle? Up to 5 power? Maybe we'll get to watch that level up animation today. See, we got these strikes for the Divine Clerk. Come in, take down Kayn, gain a little bit more health. This is probably a card that we're just gonna hate as soon as as soon as we let the community get wise to the Divine Clerk. We're just not gonna want to have anything to do with it. But let's see. He's only got 1 mana here. Gonna strike you. Lead in with the Sojourners, just in case he has a weird barrier card. Gain up those healths, kill off the Aatrox. Easy kill next turn. GG. Alright, nice battle. We're gonna hate it so much. The card is bad, okay? Divine Clerk is bad, never craft it. We're gonna come out here and try and play Pirates. People figured out Divine Clerk is good. F. All right, now what do we got? Little action Aatrox. Got it, my dude. We'll hang on to the Clerk. See if we can convince you that he's terrible again. It's an easy chain with him if we need to, right? The Clerk into the Darkened Lodestone. Just an additional way to give him that 3 attack when you need it.
We have gone long without justice, but keep hope alive.
Not gonna trade. We got all these supports. I wanna do support things.
Together, we can do this.
Scores to settle, cooks to kill. You know how it is.
The Darkened Fan. Dig it. Do we want to go ahead and drop a Bright Steel? Like, if we don't play Taric next turn, I think that's okay. It just prevents damage, right? That's not that big of a deal. Maybe if we pass, he'll no attack or something. I forget. I said, oh, it's the Darkened Fan, and then I forgot that that dude was about to come out. Makes it a little bit more painful. But I think we're okay. Lots of opportunities to gain that health right back.
My shield is yours.
Cool eye patch.
You like it? I mean, shut up and fight.
So this gives us a 3 health Tayari. Then we can protect Tayari with the Pale Cascade. Sounds good. Gonna take these Kayle flips, drop the Divine Judgment directly on Taric. Get that sweet play going again. I'm on board.
Cool eye patch. You like it? Talk is worthless.
All right, there's an action flip. Not the biggest of deals. Like, we're gonna look to go into this next turn. This shouldn't be a deck that has like a ton of interactivity to it. And so if we're able to next turn, like drop Tayari, attack with everybody, Golden AGS Taric, and get 2 more attacks in, like I think we'll be in a pretty good spot. I'm not quite familiar with what all the dumb Aatrox cards are, though. how much we have to worry about just getting blasted here. All right, you know the old saying, 1 isn't dead. Your life total doesn't matter till it hits 0.
One foot in front of the other.
We love it when they run.
All right, so what are we willing to get in for an attack here? It's a bit unfortunate now that he has the 2 4 health units. Really shuts down a lot of what we're doing. We can get the bonus attack off of the Divine Clerk. Or we can look to protect the Clerk with Taric. None of that sounds particularly appealing. I think we're just going to have to preemptively Golden Aegis so we can get 2 attacks in this turn instead of 3. This was always my problem playing this deck as we were kind of like building up to seasonals. You'll have these times to where you're just like, oh man, I want to get the ultimate value here. I need to attack with all of my units. And then after, I don't want to attack before the rally thing. Because then it's like I just lose out, right? But I think we have to give up on that single attack to get the barriers down here.
This one's a fighter.
Not a chance. Do it.
Quit struggling.
All right, attack number 1 in the books. We're gonna have to attack with the Clerk again.
Arda's gonna make a meal of them.
I won't stop now.
Is that how we want it? Or would we rather boost Taric?
No time to rest. Take my hand.
See where that gets us, I guess. Oh, you can't leave the Clerk up. He's got to be putting action in front of the Clerk. You can't let us go into next turn and then still have access to all this lifesteal. Right? It's not crazy talk, is it? I don't think that's crazy talk. I'll take it, though. I guess, oh, he has vulnerable on him. He can quick attack him in with action, but that makes it much more challenging for opponent to pull off a lethal here. So, you know, we got that going for us.
My blade shall illuminate the dark.
Now my blade's out here illuminating the dark and stuff.
Draw them blind.
So what's even happening? He's gonna kill both of our dudes, but not us.
Bear witness.
All right. That's where we're at. Can we flip our Kayle? That's what this is. Looks like it's going to come down to. We're not going to be able to make her quite big enough. More divine judgments. That'd be nice for next turn. Not so much this one. We're going to get that Kayle flip, aren't we? It's coming up. It's going to happen soon. Lame. What a lame-o. Alright, GG. Interesting. Well, we had a lot of options that game. How we used our divine guy and everything. I think it really, a lot of that came down to not having the attack boosting elements that we needed. We were just a little bit short in some of those combats, but that's close. It's good stuff. GG. Alrighty, though. Make our way into the last one, the final battle up against the Taco. So, you know, not a bad set of games. We've gotten to enjoy all of the new champions. We got a game against Kayle. We got a couple games against Ryze. A couple games against Aatrox. Feels good. Feels good to come out and see the new stuff. Got some kind of P and Z version of Ryze here, though. Surprised. I was gonna say I'm surprised he's not playing Seraphine, and then there she is. Ugh. Ugh. If you want to take a moment to go and play some, go and play just a little bit of the Gauntlet. Get a taste for what it feels like to be able to just ban out one of the champions. Like it feels like you can't really have the ladder running around with, like, the flow just isn't right. I really enjoyed that bring 3 deck pick and ban style of archetype for best of 1. I feel like that would have made our previous season just so much better, given that we wouldn't have had to have sit around and just played against Seraphine all the time. But I don't know if taking like up to a minute before each ladder game to do the pick and ban thing is too much. So this is where we want to be. I guess if we're taking 1 damage either way, we should put more damage onto Seraphine. This just does give him the chance to Mystic Shot the tracker and then protect her. Yeah. That's okay. She's not doing anything crazy at the current moment. But no, it's like as we came up to like before the Seraphine nerfs, I just had no desire to play the game. And I think that, you know, that was a good solution, since the pick and ban stuff's so tied into League, and it's one of the big functions of League to also be able to tie that into this. That was kind of neat. I didn't know if the pick and ban stuff existed in Valorant. I can't play first person shooters; it's too stressful. But I don't know if they put it across, you know, the entirety of the company or not. All right, though. Let's get this Mountain Sojourners going. I wanted to get the support onto the Protege. We shouldn't have done that. I don't think we should have played the Lodestone here. I was thinking in my head that we needed to get stats onto Tayari, but the stats are going to get there at the end of the day just through the Sojourners. And so having the Pale Cascade to protect here a little bit probably would have been ideal, but we'll see. See if we can't make it through.
Keep going.
Run them through. Aha!
Brace yourselves.
Take
All right. Well, that part of the turn was successful. Get ourselves built into the big champion strength. I dig it. I can't wait to play more of this card. Seraphine is up to 6 new cards.
I did my best.
But this champion strength should be a blowout against P and Z Rise, right? I guess they could have the whole gamut of burst and type spells, but none of that should be relevant here. I don't think that there's going to be a burst spell that stops a champion's strength, right? He needs to be in like Shadow Isles or needs to have a deny or something, and that shouldn't really be in his wheelhouse as he starts dropping back alley bars. Who knows what that random card's going to be, but I think we're in a good space. This attack, very suspicious. Like, I don't care. We're not at any risk of dying, and the champion's strength should be able to carry us through the next turn. That was a fairly risky way to pull off a shared spoils, but he's also in a space to where he needs something to go right. All right, it went right enough. And so, GG, not a bad collection of battles. We can pull this one up and talk about it a little bit more. And so, I was pretty happy with this setup. I'm not certain entirely on the makeup of the champions, but I was happy with 2 copies of Kayle. It's very easy to just get too many copies of Kayle in your hand. You really only want to draw 1, right? Because her flip spell is so expensive. I feel like 2 copies of Kayle was good. I think you might want to consider playing 3 poppies, 1 Taric. I don't think you ever want to play 3 Tarics, 1 poppy. But the split that we had here was pretty decent. Otherwise, I was happy with quite a lot of the stuff that we had going on. The level up on Kayle didn't happen. So it might have been a little bit more challenging to pull off than we at least initially anticipated. But I think this deck is exactly the kind of space you need to be in if you are looking to level up the Kayle. We got in for tons and tons of the boosted attacks. We got in with the just having the units survive and play to that kind of idea and thought that we aren't just try to turbo Kayle, right? We're trying to play a good deck that also just kind of incidentally levels up Kayle. And so having all of these early challengers and surviving the combats and getting multiple attacks in with the boosted stat dudes is pretty good in terms of getting her leveled up and everything. I think, though, outside of Kayle, the big takeaways coming out of this one are the other new cards, right? The Champion's Strength is the real deal. I'm pretty stoked to be playing a bunch of this, and I kind of feel like with this format, at least over the next week or so, just having a ton of Rise, and then who's even the other champion? Aatrox, some 6-cost champion. I feel like Champion Strength is going to be very well suited to really pick on the format, right? To kind of counter this, you need a lot of removal and interactivity, and I don't think Rise and I don't think Aatrox really bring that. Aatrox should be bringing kind of like curve decks, and Rise does have some removal in the 2 damage thing and then the stuns, but that's a lot of build-up, and I think that the Champion Strength is going to come in and just crush all that nonsense. And so pretty excited to try this one out. And then, again, don't tell anybody about the Divine Clerk. Can't have people finding out that this card's the real deal. If we're trying to play Legion Rearguards and the like, and people figure out the Divine Clerk is actually really good, then we're going to run into some trouble and some problems. And so don't tell anybody. Don't tell your friends. Don't let anybody know. The Divine Clerk can come out and get the job done. But nonetheless, good stuff, reasonable deck. I feel like I'm not certain if this is the best way to approach Kayle, but I think it's a pretty good one. We had a pretty good success rate here. Played against a lot of Masters players in those games, and so we weren't just playing against the Iron 4 folks that are new to the game. So, good stuff. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust and me. Thank you for being here.